Hey, what's up? It's Genesis and I hope you're doing well. This video is going to be the first Genetips video where I share my sound design techniques. The other videos in this series so far have been to do with general creativity and productivity, but under great demand, I'm finally doing a sound design related one. For this video, I'm going to be showcasing my favorite techniques that I use with delays and possibly exploring some new ones that I have in mind. Before we get into it though, a quick disclaimer. There is no right or wrong way to sound design or to make music. If it sounds good, then it sounds good. Of course, that is subjective, so if you don't like it, then that's fine. Everyone learns different, everyone likes different things, everyone is different. Without further ado, let's get into it. So here's a quick 4-bar loop that I've whipped up for this video. It's just a very boring sounding trench tune, I guess. The drums that I'm using right now are from my most recently released sample pack called Drum Bombs, which is right here, and it contains 20 crashes, 10 rides, 30 closed hi-hats, 30 open hi-hats, 30 kicks, 30 percussions, 30 rim knocks, 10 claps and 8 snaps, 30 snares, and 30 toms. So if you'd like to get this drum kit, you can go ahead and get it on my website. Link will be in the description below and also on the top right of the screen, I think. We have a kick, we've got 4 claps layered with some reverb and a few hi-hat layers on top. And we'll just get straight to the first technique that I like to use with delays, and that is a signal delay. So right now, we have this drum loop. Not bad, but I like to usually do this technique on hi-hats just to make it slur a little bit more. And for the signal delay trick to work, you need to have the dry wet on completely wet, 0 feedback, and on milliseconds instead of notes. So this can work in any delay plugin, and also these other techniques that I'm going to talk about will also work with other delay plugins. But essentially what you have is, right now, in this mode where you have the feedback down, jar wet fully up, and on the millisecond mode, this time knob will act as the amount of time the signal will be shifted forward by in milliseconds. So right now, it's shifted forward by 1 millisecond, the hi-hats, which is not much at all, but I usually like to shift my hi-hats around about 36 milliseconds or later. So now it sounds a little bit more drunk. You can definitely hear how just 36 milliseconds of a signal delay changes the entire feel of that drum loop. Usually when I shift the hi-hats, I also shift all the synths forward as well, and including the sub, so I'll do that right now. So this is 36 milliseconds of signal delay on everything except the kick and snare. To me, that adds already a lot compared to how it sounds before, which I'll show right now. And then after. And you can make this sound even more aggressive by, of course, increasing the milliseconds. I'll go for, let's say, 46 this time on each of these. To me, this sounds more powerful compared to everything when it's completely straight, because now this allows other elements some time to breathe. Because if you have everything like completely lined up straight, everything will be fighting for that one split second, you know, like the kick and clap hits, hi-hat hits, synth hits, like exactly at the same time. They're all going to be trying to fight for that one spot, and it sounds too congested. So having a little bit of leeway this way can help your flow, in my opinion, a lot. And just that alone sounds already a lot better than what it does before. I'm gonna go a little bit more aggressive. Let's explore a little bit. Let's go 60 milliseconds now on everything. That sounds way bouncier now. Okay, now my next technique that I like to do with this is kind of like a ghost note approach, I guess. A ghost note delay technique? I don't know what to call it, but essentially what you have is, of course, you have your delay. And right now, let's focus on the drums again. What you can do is that you can use the delay to generate an extra note, which is quieter. We call those ghost notes. And they essentially like add a bit more to the groove. Yeah, let's say we've got this hi-hat and it's completely dry right now. I want to add, let's say, an 8th note in between each hi-hat note. So I'm going to go to a 2/16 note setting here with feedback all the way down and slowly bring up the dry wet. So you can hear how it adds more notes to that hi-hat groove. It's not that bad, but since everything is shoved forward, I feel like it would make more sense to shift this forward as well. Just so it can match the kind of feel, and we'll make sure they're equally spaced forward. We'll just increase the swing percentage until it sounds right. Sounds about right there. Sounding a little bit better. It's more bouncy. Let's put it 20% now. Let's go extreme. 30, not 33. Oh! And now we have an added triplet swing kind of ghost note to each of those hi-hats. I know you can just draw it in there. In my opinion, this technique works best in synths. So let's focus on this main synth here. And I'll copy and paste that ghost note delay on there. So now we have this added like ghost note groove, and it sounds so swingy and bouncy now. Woo! So yeah, you can play around with the rhythms on if you're on sync mode, or maybe you can even go crazy and go in time mode and find that sweet spot that way. And if you increase the feedback, it'll add more taps, of course. So around about here, it's almost triplety, but it drags on a little bit later, so it has more of a swingier feel than just a regular triplet. It kind of just like slags on. Yeah. And again, with this technique, you can automate the dry wet or the on and off to have some sort of play on the flow there. So let's say I put the dry wet to 36 or 38, and I'm just going to turn on and off the delay on certain parts, so you can hear like how you can further mess around with this ghost delay groove to have a more interesting rhythm. You can expand on this a little bit more by using filters if your delay has one. So you can make the ghost notes sound more like ghost notes. Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly automate that, and we're going to continue on with the next technique. Okay, so the next technique I want to get into is using the delay as a way to have some more note length dynamics. So let me show you how that will work. Let's say we have this main sound here. We've got the signal delay and the ghost note delay already working. And this technique makes it more of a sound design technique. So what you're going to do is change your delay to millisecond mode again, put your dry wet all the way up. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the feedback up a little bit. And usually the range within, let's say 60 to 100 milliseconds, that's usually the sweet spots. And because this time knob is logarithmic, I'm going to use a macro to get a finer tune there. So I'm going to set this to, let's say 48 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds. So anything below 100 milliseconds and above 48 will make it sound like a decay tail. And you can use that to your advantage to have some variation in note length. So you can make your synth sound like it will have short and long notes, which will help your flow and groove a lot. The more you increase the feedback, the longer the decay tail is, and the shorter the time, or the milliseconds, the more textural the decay tail will become. I find that usually anything below 70 milliseconds or below 80 milliseconds will make the delay sound a bit like a flanger. Those textures are wild. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to map the dry wet to a macro, and I'm going to have the maximum value be around 38%. So now this way, we can essentially use it as a toggle switch. So you can have short notes and long notes. And we can use that to our advantage for our flow and note dynamics here. So I'm just gonna automate something and see what fits. I'll just call it tail delay. There we go. So now we have three different ways we can use the delay. We've got the delay being used as a addition to your synth's tail, so you can make a shorter or longer notes. We've got a signal delay to push the signal forward a little bit to make the flow sound a little bit more interesting. And we've got a ghost note delay, which adds additional quieter notes that will add to the overall groove of our piece. So now with all these three techniques together, on this one synth, this is how it sounds like. And with these three kinds of delays, you can already make a full drop. So let's explore that real quick. For the second section, I'm wanting to change the delay time for the tail delay so I can get a different texture. Let's go a little bit faster. And I'll also automate it so it's a ramp kind of thing. And with this length of the tail delay, I'll also automate the feedback, because as the time for the tail delay gets smaller, the shorter the overall tail is. So we can compensate for that by turning up the feedback. And I'll also change the ghost note delays time here, so we can get a different kind of ghost note rhythm. There we go, so now it's more of a third triplet ghost note kind of feel. So now this is basically the first half of a drop, and the only thing we're changing pretty much is the automations, but this is how it sounds like. There's one last technique that I can think of that you can use delays for, and it's for tape stops. And I'm just going to quickly make one and rename this one tape stop delay. And I'll put this on the entire master actually. I'll put it before my master chain, which you can get for free on my website, link in the description below. And for this trick to work, you need to have a delay that has a repitch mode. So whenever you change the delay, it'll repitch to the new delay time instead of either completely stopping and readjusting or fading into it. So we'll have it on repitch mode, we'll have it on time mode again, turn off any coloration like distortions or filters that are built into it, put the feedback all the way down, and put the dry wet up. So for this to work, you need to automate the time for the tape stop delay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have it jump from 1 millisecond all the way up to the max. And we're going to drop it back to 1 because it makes it easier to reload the song before that point. And we're going to automate the on and off as well. And we'll have it automate on just before the automation for the tape stop delay time. And we'll have it cut off right when the second half of this loop hits. So now this is what that sounds like. And just like that, with 4 different ways you can use a delay, we have managed to change a simple 4-bar loop into a 16-bar loop, which is a lot more interesting. And literally only using those 4 techniques, we haven't changed anything else other than maybe just drop out the drums and sub. But other than that, the synths remain unchanged. Like there's no automations on the synths themselves. When it comes to tone, it's literally just all delays. As a bonus little thing, there's one more thing I want to include. There's this one sampler and beat machine called the SP404, which is something that I've been eyeing on for like the past 6 years at this point, and I still don't have one yet, but hopefully I will get one soon. Anyways, I digress. But there's this one specific feature that the SP404 series has, and it's called the djfx looper. Essentially what it is a loop toggle, I guess you could say. And the 3 parameters that you are able to tweak with the 3 knobs at the top of the SP404 are on and off to toggle the djfx looper, time, so like how long the loop will last, and pitch. And I've been meaning to find a way to incorporate that into my beats somehow while I don't have a SP404. And I've come up with a rack recently, and it works on almost the exact same way. And I'll show you a quick demonstration of how this works. But first I'm going to turn on my webcam. Okay, so I've pretty much mapped it in almost the same way that you would see it in a SP404. So you have the on and off switch. I've put it in this right hand knob here. You've got the time. I also have a beats versus milliseconds toggle switch here, and I've also added some additional features, as you can see on the rack, such as a filter Q for the frequency, and you have a ping pong toggle switch. So I'll just quickly show you what the normal djfx looper would sound like, but in an Ableton rack. I have this beat over here. And I made this on stream a couple of weeks back. Yeah. And then if you adjust the time as well. And if you adjust the time at the same time you turn on the loop, you can get stuff like this. Of course, this is a lot more fun to use if you have some macros on hand that you can tweak along, but of course this can also be used with just automations alone, and that can be pretty fun to use in your beats. Anyways, I'll be releasing this sometime soon on my website. I'm just still testing it for now. I'm seeing if there's any changes I might need to make. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like and sub to buff my algorithm RNG, leave a comment if you have something to say, and maybe shout at someone you think would find this useful. You can further support me by checking out all the links in the description below, which includes my official website, my Discord, other social medias, and my Patreon, which I have recently set up. So I have 3 different tiers. Depending on what kind of tier you sign up for, you can get benefits such as on-screen shoutouts on YouTube videos, behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, access to additional exclusive content, such as unedited DJ sets of the DJ gig vlogs that I have on my channel, Patreon-only Q&As, which I'll turn into videos as well, exclusive dub plates, which are different from the ones that are free on my website, track breakdown videos, and maybe some other bonuses I'll come up with in the future. You don't have to support me on Patreon, because there are plenty of other ways you can support me, but if you do, thank you so much, honestly. Everything helps, and a little can go a long way. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay creative. See you in a bit.